So I'm not really sure how to begin this review with anything other than playing ELEX 2 after playing and reviewing Elden Ring was a huge mistake. Don't get me wrong, I kept a lot of things in mind when reviewing this game, but playing it immediately following one of the best games I've ever played in my life made the flaws of ELEX 2 shine so much more. It was really important for me to remember that jank is kind of Piranha Bytes' thing. Having made the Gothic games followed by the Risen games, we're all familiar with their work. Eurojank being the best way to describe it, and how bad a few of those games were. Going into this game, I knew what to expect, but even still, it was entirely brutal. Probably as hard as Shenmue 3 was for me to complete, and because of that being the case, it's definitely going to get reflected in the score. So yeah, buckle your seatbelts, we're in for a bumpy ride. Funny, to be sure, but God was it bumpy. When I think of the progression of games, there's always a few series that come to mind. I think of Dark Souls, Mass Effect, Dragon Age, Battlefield, so on and so forth. You have expectations of each iteration looking so much better than the last, either through visual fidelity, UI effects, animations, you know what I'm saying. With ELEX 2 though, I feel like I've stepped into a time machine. Not a time machine to 2020 or 2018 or 2016. No, I feel like I've gone back to playing games in 2009 before Skyrim set some standards, and to be quite honest, I just wasn't ready. I will take a moment to mention that ELEX 2 takes place shortly after the fall of the hybrid storyline from ELEX 1, and you're the same Jax as in that game, just trying to get by and deal with a new threat that has recently emerged and threatens to destroy the world. Now, this game is not pretty. I don't think the words horrendously ugly really apply here, but compared to, well, anything else in the last 5 years in the same genre, it's definitely the ugly stepchild. The world is bland, lifeless almost. Nothing really stood out to me or pulled my attention or captivated me. No, none of that. And honestly, a lot of the time it was the exact opposite of appealing. You had really low poly buildings, most of which were copy-pasted around from what I could see. Very limited detail scenery in a lot of places, and just overall bad looking architecture. The foliage, trees, water, anything to do with nature as well were dated, with even the alien fauna and materials looking flat and uninspired. It was just so coming off of Elden Ring. But even if I hadn't played that beforehand, I would still think this looked like total butt for a game coming out in 2022. It's really hard to just explain how bad it is, so just please pay attention to the gameplay. But it genuinely felt like I had gone back and was playing the first Risen or Gothic 3 all over again. NPCs and their dialogue in ELEX 2 have to be the worst I've experienced in any game ever. I would say even worse than Shenmue 3, and that absolutely blows my mind. Conversations will start in one place and completely jump to other dialogue, with companions jutting in at random times for no reason with entirely unrelated comments. There were times while streaming this that I completely broke in utter confusion, having absolutely no idea what was happening or going on.
Out with it. What do you want?
Hey, wife, could you speak up for me?
I'm looking to get into the fort.
Spit it out. Listen up. You don't belong here, so this is the end of the line for you.
Let me through.
Your boss doesn't want...
Come on, he's harmless.
I'm harmless.
You know the order. Get...
Well...
You're not really much of a help.
Are you kidding me?
So you won't help?
Wow. Really?
What is going on with this dialogue?
This city's fortified like it is. That still doesn't mean we'd let everyone and anyone in.
If you have any better suggestions, let me know. But don't look at me like that. Don't you dare judge me.
What the f? What is going on? I don't understand. I don't understand what's happening.
Not bad.
What do you mean? You're literally, you're in this faction. Seriously, you'll be talking to a guard about getting access somewhere, and then your companion will scream about not interrupting them or talking to them in a certain way. It just felt at times that the dialogue was complete and utter madness. It also doesn't help that each and every line seemingly was recorded independently without flow, genuinely sounding like an editor just dumped them in after each other response, almost robotic in a way. The actors' faces are completely bland and flat while speaking, with most conversations lacking even basic animation of movement to signify that they're talking to you. I think one of the funniest aspects of the conversations is that you could just tell different quality microphones were used between the actors, as some of them just outright have awful audio compared to others. It's a total mess, and I swear at times I just wanted to throw up from how bad the dialogue was with these characters. I felt literal pain every time I had to talk to an NPC, and I just wanted it to end the entire way through. It's like they're not human. No human talks like that. I think all the characters were written by lizard people in real life. On top of that, oh my god, are the quests bad. All of them.
I heard he was robbed.
Oh, I'm really glad.
I like
Doesn't leave me totally.
This investigation is going so good.
What about this
Oh, the drink menus. Investigating stolen drink menus, baby. Welcome to ELEX. Elden Ring, eat your fucking heart out, bro. Fucking killing giant bosses, investigating old stuff. Nah, lame. Drink menus. That's the writing that they wanted to put in this game right at the beginning. That's their epic campaign I'm sent on. I gotta investigate drink menus. Oh, you know, hey, these are important times. You know, if I don't figure out who's stealing these drink menus, God knows, ELEX is doomed.
Excuse me, but would it be a problem for you to take a different
What
path?
is wrong with you, small man? Pretty much every quest in the game. One of the main story quests involve recruiting people to your cause and getting into cities. It requires nothing but chores, just chores. You're this legendary hero from the first game being forced to do bland chores like picking up stones and going on checking on miners or picking plants to even progress at the beginning of the game at all. I kid you not, their flagship main quest line has moments where you'll be falling asleep and it takes hours of gameplay to get to anything interesting in the story. Interesting is also a flattering word because even the interesting stuff by comparison wasn't very interesting at all. Combat, if you can even call it that, typically involves you running around, dodging awkwardly, and swinging at the enemy. Ranged combat has no depth or grace to it either, with both being extremely bland and the ultimate idea of simplicity that could be implemented in an RPG. You use one trigger or mouse button to attack. There are no special combos that I found, no skill trees for super cool special abilities, nothing. It's all spam swinging and spam shooting, and again, just feels extremely archaic in itself. There's also stamina, which runs out way too quickly, that enemies don't seem to suffer from, with a couple of swings making you incapable of doing anything for several moments. It feels so bad, and the developers should feel bad for even putting in a system that already feels so jank as it is. I just expect more these days, you know? Don't get me wrong, I appreciate older RPGs with very basic systems, but come on, you can innovate just a little bit, right? It doesn't have to be this bad, and it was just so bad. This game almost broke me. Now, I will say there are talent points or AP points in this regard in the game, but they're used to only unlock basic upgrades that allow you to do things like lockpick harder locks or do slightly more melee damage or ranged damage or whatever. I don't mind these so much. It was neat to have to talk to specific people to find trainers on specific skills. But God, I think it would have been so much better with a modern RPG leveling system and like actual talent trees. Enemy combat AI is probably the worst I've ever seen in a game. The developers advertised ELEX 2 as brutally hard and that many enemies will one-shot you, but that's just the thing. They can never get to you if you just keep running in circles. I kid you not, there were so many times when I did quests against enemies that were skulls, which mean I should die instantly, that couldn't keep up with me, just letting me hold strafe and shooting at them for 10 minutes right in the face. It was actually insane that the big alien threat of the game employed soldiers that were absolutely brain dead, constantly having to chase me down ineffectively instead of just using their guns to shoot and kill me without much problem. No joke. They have guns, they don't use them, and this persisted through most of the game. Large creatures, animals, anything you can think of have entirely the worst pathing of a game to date, with slightly elevated surfaces, making them so confused that even New World's AI would blush. Jess loves, I see Jess is smart.
Get behind me!
The critter is running! Find a crazy boss, stand on a rock. Fight a robot with melee only, stand on a rock. Entire army, stand on a rock. Maybe even stand on a building, and you'll just have no issues. It just all feels so bad, and I just had to play this. It felt like it never ended, and the pain just kept on coming. How hard is it in 2022 to program enemies to, like, switch to ranged weapons consistently to shoot you, or for animals to know how to jump? I don't know, and I don't think I'll find the answer with ELEX 2. So yeah, as I keep talking about this, my brain is piling to mush. I think I'm just gonna get to the part where I tell you not to buy it and give you a final score, as if I keep going on, this review could be 30 minutes long and it'd be nothing but me bashing about, like, how bad my experience was. Oh, wait, it just became day. It's day now, suddenly.
Hey, crony. Better not go down there alone.
This game is stuck in 2006, trying to appeal to an audience I don't think exists anymore. It came out after Elden Ring, and quite honestly, it feels even worse given the fact that the first game felt about the same. It's boring, uninspired, extremely confusing, entirely frustrating, and just outright plain bad. I mean, IGN gave it a 4, for Christ's sake. I forgot to mention this earlier, but I was also getting sub 50 frame rates on a 3090, and I feel like I should say that because it's a 3090 and this game looks like butt. My final score for ELEX 2 is going to be a incredibly painful 3 out of 10. The only reason it doesn't go lower is because it worked, it didn't crash, and it's still a game. Generally, I only rate things lower than a 3 if it flat out doesn't function on top of everything else. Do yourself a favor. Don't buy ELEX 2. Don't play it, don't look at it, don't think about it, and just play Elden Ring or literally anything else instead. And God, I hope the next series Piranha Bytes makes is better, as I really did personally like the Gothic series, but this just feels so much worse by comparison. Anyway, if you did have the misfortune of playing the game, let me know what you think about it in the comments, and be sure to leave suggestions for what I should review next. There's a lot of games still coming out this month, and I could definitely use your help narrowing down what I review. Oh, by the way, and if you liked the video, do me a favor, subscribe, share the video, drop a like, do all those things, click the bell. This is a new channel, and every little bit actually helps a tremendous amount. Appreciate you all. Until the next video, I'll be seeing ya. Bye.